It is hot.
Really hot. Yeah, can you turn that down a little bit? You turn it up.
It's because all of us are really cooking in here.
So yeah, you started to say,
And this is Monique Byers, my partner in crime.
hi, I'm Monique Myers. I'm the outreach coordinator that's been helping Kathleen Fredette bring the information about the school to the community. And I'm honored to be a part of this journey and can't wait to see where we go next.
Yeah.
So, Amer, do you want to introduce yourself real quick and put you on the spot?
Kirk, interim CEO for Island Schools Development.
Beautiful.
Pleasure
And
to
then
be here.
Kim, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kim Adam. I'm on the board for Colorado Skies Academy. My history, I was a teacher and a parent of a child who graduated from an I-Lead school. One of their first, actually their first, and was part of helping develop and move that school forward. So I'm excited about the opportunity we have here. Lots of room, 2 seats in the middle too.
Here, let me just run
Here, we can put some benches. There we go. Look at me go. There's always, you know, we can always space. We'll figure it out.
And let's just move those
Oh,
two.
yeah, under.
Okay, so we are also going to just quickly talk to you a little bit about the facility and then where we are in the process. And then the best part is really how you can support. So that's the most important part. We're just going to kind of zoom through the information and go from there. And you just do it.
I'm bringing in some benches because all are welcome.
So as you know, the schools, Colorado Skies Academy will provide the opportunity to explore, develop, and achieve learners' dreams in aviation and aerospace. The mission of Colorado Skies Academy is to provide a high-quality educational program that will prepare young people for advanced education and careers in the aviation and aerospace industries. There are other schools around in the country that are aerospace. This is unique in that we're partnering with this museum and have this facility for our kids, and that also this is the first school that is right here on an airstrip. It's like unheard of that we have this partnership, and it's really exciting to be part of this unique opportunity. As you probably know, when John Berry first was looking for a charter school, he was looking for 3 different things. The first one was a school that would be willing, that was using project-based learning. The second one was a charter school that would be willing to actually build a building. And the third one was aerospace. And so he looked all over Colorado, and he couldn't find that, and then he found us in California. And we've been running aerospace projects for several years. Actually, this is the 5th year that we're running this project right here, and we've talked about this one before. In fact, this is happening right now in California where kids learn about aviation, they learn about flight and physics, and then they actually end up flying. And we've already developed a partnership out here that'll be, we're hoping we'll partner with gliders. And the reason we start out with gliders is because they're better, but that's not really the reason. Actually, you learn about flight probably more authentically in a glider, and also you can solo at 14. And so we're excited about the possibility of working with Black Forest Soaring Club. Have you heard of that one? Okay, so we've already got that in the works. We're very excited about that. And this is another project. In fact, this was something that was sent to me today. This is a team of learners ranging from 7th all the way up. We have an 8th grade, we have 9th, and we have 11th graders. They were getting the experiment that's about to be launched on SpaceX in December. So they were getting this package to go to NanoRacks and then to NASA. They were doing that today. And I wasn't there, so they were like giving me real-time pictures, and this just made me weep. I was so excited. And this experiment is this. These were 7th graders that came up with this. It turns out that there's a microbe in our mouth that causes dental problems, you know, like plaque. Coffee, black, no one drinks black coffee, so it really doesn't work, but black coffee actually kills it. So the question the girls had, because it's a problem, you know, oral hygiene is a problem in space for astronauts. The question was, will it kill the microbe in space the same way that it does on Earth? So we're using Trader Joe coffee. And in fact, they're very excited about, we're using Trader Joe coffee and then a microwave and then something in the middle, and we're about to send that up in December. We're really excited about that, and this is a project that we will definitely be running here. It's called Dream Up to Space, and in fact, the Dream Up just moved here from DC to Colorado. And so we have a couple other exciting projects with them that they are planning to partner us with. Hey Amir, your turn.
Can you talk a little bit about just the renderings, design?
We have unique opportunity here to work essentially on this project from scratch. iLead prefers the open space concept in our classroom setup, and oftentimes when we assume a lease of an existing building or have to remodel, there's certain limitations on how you interact with that space and how you can generate the spaces that are conducive to our model. This time we were fortunate enough to have a blank slate, and basically we're able to incorporate all of the design elements that make our model successful into this particular school design, and also follow the parameters of making sure that it complies with the feel and look of other facilities at Centennial Airport related to Blue Sky and Black Sky Galaxy. So what you're gonna see are some architect rendering. We're actually meeting with our architects tomorrow to start to finalize some of this and get ready for the build-out process and final drawings. But you'll see that the teaming and the spaces are set up from a perspective of providing maximum flexibility, of moving the learners in different groups, keeping that open space concept. We introduce different objects that help us control the sound, because that's always an issue in the open space concept. When you have so many kids in one closed area, we have to find ways to properly control the sound. So you're gonna see a wide variety of concepts within. All of these elements are not just from the design perspective, but they also serve the sound abatement purpose. So
Good.
we're definitely excited to get this off the ground pretty soon.
Do you have any questions as we go along? Please don't hesitate to just jump in there. Yes, ma'am.
What is your target enrollment number?
To start off with 225, I think the maximum capacity of the building is gonna be capped at 350
Okay.
approximately.
When are you guys planning on having the building actually in place and functional?
Well, that's really dependent on your lovely weather here. I think the construction is slated to start, to break ground in February. Building could be ready based on the setup and understanding of the local environment and choosing the proper structures. It could be ready by the start in August, but it's really dependent on those crucial 2 months of February and March. If the weather conditions do not allow the primary element of work to happen with the setup of the ground, we could get slightly delayed, so we're already preparing for the plan B, figuring out how we can utilize this facility, potentially bring some portable classrooms on this premise, and basically have kids start the school in those while, kind of observing the end stages of the construction. But our hope is still, we've heard from the project manager that they have different ways and assurances that they could expedite the process and make sure that we have the building ready in August. So that would be the ultimate goal.
We love our plan B though, always plan B.
Always, and there's a plan C too,
There is,
just in
right,
case.
right, yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, but it's our goal for that. I do wanna point this piece out right here. We'll have something in our building called an Exploratorium, which is really like a STEM, hands-on, tech,
Lab,
what?
lab.
Lab, there we go, okay. And the thing I like about this is that Creative Learning Systems is a Colorado-based, right in here, Denver-based company. And so the great thing is our kids will be moving through these modules. They're like 3-week modules where they get exposed to all kinds of things from like GarageBand to Arduinos to sustainability. So all sorts of things that it's really difficult to keep your finger on the pulse of STEM because it's developing so quickly. So as soon as the teacher goes, yes, I understand this thing and now I can teach it, on comes the next thing. It's very hard for teachers to stay current and all the new STEM stuff, STEAM stuff that's out there. I love this company because they're always ahead of the game. So way before anyone else saw those Spheros, do y'all have those Spheros? They had already you have one? Yeah. They had already developed curriculum for that. So the curriculum's embedded in that. So what it means is that the teacher doesn't have to be the person who knows everything, because the teacher can learn it as the way that the curriculum is developed. The kids are exploring, and there's exploring at a, I've never seen this before, or if we have someone who's already good at Sphero, there's like an advanced level. So it's really great for differentiation. It's a super solid curriculum connected to Common Core and GSS. Any other comments or thoughts? What did you say that company was? That's called Creative Learning Systems, CLS. And we use them in two of our other schools. Okay.
Is it gonna have ramp access here at Centennial, like you can bring airplanes up to the building kind of thing?
I think, if you go back to the previous slide,
I saw the airplane through the window, so I wasn't sure if that was the plan.
as you can see over there on the side, I think the idea is, essentially as you're looking at it, this is the entrance from the Isbell Road.
Okay.
So it's the very first building on the right-hand side. So this section here that opens up is gonna be conducive to learners essentially taking some outside activities. And this area here is gonna be connected to the next adjacent hangar that's probably gonna have demo airplanes and ability to wheel them up to the school, such as if we're presenting the glider like we do in the other schools. We don't have to necessarily deploy a trailer and move it all the way around. It can be wheeled up directly and positioned by the school, so.
I wasn't sure if they were just gonna extend this ramp around or what the plan was. I can't remember the plan for this campus, but.
Yeah, it's in the various stages, and I think they're, for right now, only have the blue sky and black sky committed, but the additional buildings and hangars in between are still in the development stages, which are gonna connect essentially to the school. We're the last building in that sort of loop set up.
And I think one of the things that's exciting about as this plan develops too, is they're looking at bringing in like an AMP school, and another college, and possibly, is this for consumption? I'm sure it is.
I think so,
Yeah,
it's been shared
then-
publicly.
Yeah, okay, so, and possibly that they would bring the, the Pilot Aviation Museum, the one that's in the Midwest here, because it's hard to get, and actually have that here. So there's I think the plethora of things that our kids can really be exposed to is just very, very exciting. Okay, so what we'd like to do is just give you some updates, and the first one is to talk with you a little bit about the way that our application was received by Cherry Creek. Then we want to talk to you a little bit about the teams that are developed, and then how you can actually move to the next phase of applying. So this first one, in case you hear this, we have nothing to hide on this. We were given a yes with what would be called conditions. And the conditions were spelled out very clearly, and in fact, our team sat down with the Cherry Creek staff this morning in a very wonderful collaborative meeting where we talked through to make sure that we understand exactly what they want. And it's things that, as we spoke with them, it's really conditions that are ensuring that we'll be successful, because they want to embrace us as one of their schools and reflect the excellence that they require for all of their schools. So the meeting was very collaborative in nature. Like, for example, what's a condition? Well, they want to know what's the next step in your enrollment. So you had people fill things out. You had families say, we want to do this. Well, what's the next phase, and how will we know that the numbers that you have, that you gave to us, will actually move to actual kids attending your school? Another thing that they really are concerned about is that we have parents on our board of kids that are in school. And so those are the kinds of things that they asked of us, and we are happily working with them, and it's a really beautiful collaborative partnership. And so if you hear about that, oh, it was with conditions, we're good with those conditions. They're good. They're moving us to work together. Comments, questions? All right. What we've done in terms of moving the project forward is to really identify teams at iLead, connected to Colorado here, to really deal with every aspect of opening this school. So as Amir would say, this isn't our first rodeo. Been doing this this is the 11th year. And so we've broken down into, this is the team that's working with financing, here's the team that's working with capital campaign, here's the team that's working with curriculum design, here's the team that is looking for who would be our staff and our director. So those kinds of things are in place and just moving forward.
The other thing that you'll be getting more information on this evening and also in your inbox is the way in which the families can start applying. As soon as we gained the approval from Cherry Creek, we moved that interest list that some of you, or I'm assuming most of you, have filled out because you're here, so you probably got that email. That's the way that we've been communicating with you. So you'll get an email that will give you the steps for you to actually put in an application to be able to move into enrolling. So that will be the next step that you'll get, and on the very last slide, it gives a snapshot of what that's gonna look like and how you will do that step by step. Any questions about that? Okay, beautiful. So the other thing that we're looking for this evening, one of the things that we had mentioned in the email that we had sent out, is people who are willing to be active board members. One of the things that will make our school very successful is to have parents who are active board members and can also bring those different strengths of the community to the board of the school. So we're looking for people who have strengths in various different areas. Maybe it's finance or accounting or legal or education even. They would be spending probably about 5 to 10 hours per month. We just want to be upfront with you about that. It is a working board. You're going to be here and you're going to be participating and making a lot of those decisions for the school. You'd also be participating in one committee a month and attending the monthly board meeting that lasts about an hour.
So when we were first talking with John Berry about this, he said 5 to 10 hours because I think he's used to an idea of you're on a board and you're sitting on a board. Like I'm on a board for National Science Teacher for the aerospace, and it's a sitting board. Like honestly, I'm not doing anything on it. And so we're looking for not sitting, we're looking for working. And so that's what we mean by active. And you said something, one a month. Really, we're looking for someone who wants to really hone in on one committee and kind of own that, or a couple of people really own that.
And we'll look at those committees next. Good. So examples of those types of committees, and these will grow and also go away as we go through the process. For example, looking at the building and facilities, that's something that we would need someone to be a part of as we're looking at growing that now, and also maintaining the building and facilities. So that would be an ongoing position for you. Looking at curriculum, student and parent outreach. It's going to be the parents who really will move that forward to bring on more students and also to get those parents who come in to be actively involved in the school. With our other schools that we have as I lead, it's really community driven. So the parents are walking right alongside of the facilitators and the school director to get the information out there about the schools and also to develop that feel of community in the school. My own children attend a school, an I-Lead school, and they're both in kindergarten, and I am happy to be a part of that community. Diversity and inclusion, making sure that we have a diverse student population and we're including all students. Hiring of that site director. You might want to be involved in that. Fundraising and corporate involvement, finance, and then also the aviation and aerospace, bringing that focus in. So those are different committees that even if you didn't decide to be an active board member, you could actually choose to be a part of that committee.
I also really want to tag on what you just said, Monique, and on the student and parent outreach. So here to now, I know a lot of you, we've just seen you over and over again, which is a joy to our hearts, but really what would be more effective than someone coming in, quote, from the outside, is have parents and families who own this, who are talking with other families here. And so we'll have several opportunities coming up, if that is something that you would like, where we can go through, here's the language that you can use, just like when you came up to a table and you met us. So really, we're gonna be looking for that specifically, because I think, I don't know for sure, but sometimes I think there's like a little bit like, oh, well, you're the ones from California. Well, we're the ones here that live here. And so it really has to be owned, like Kimoni just said, by the community.
So then the next very active role that parents can be involved in, we call it a Parent Action Committee, or PAC. In a traditional school district, you might call that a PTO or a PTA. So very similar in structure. We just like to call it a PAC because literally the parents are taking action and they're owning it, and you're a committee of people who are moving things forward for the school. So it's a voluntary board, so if someone would like to step up this evening and say, I'd love to be the president of the PAC, you may. Vice president, treasurer, secretary. And then we also have voluntary coordinators. And I say such as because you, as a community, may decide we need another committee. We need another coordinator for something. So active fundraising, that means, getting out there and selling Christmas wrapping paper, right? Or popcorn, or whatever that might be. Passive fundraising are things like asking people to use a certain code when they go and shop at Kroger or Ralph's or a supermarket or Office Max, and then your school gets a percentage back for that. So someone would need to coordinate those things to make sure that the school is getting that money back. Also planning school events, that's very important as well, that community feel. You need someone on your PAC team driving that initiative as well. Spirit wear is very important, you're very proud of your school. You need someone to be able to coordinate that, bringing it in, being able to sell that, and then also having a lead classroom liaison. So each facilitator will have a parent that is like their room parent, right? And so we need someone who can coordinate those room parents so that they're communicating with the facilitator and moving things forward. So these are just some of those examples that we've used at other schools and have been very effective.
I'm
Any
gonna
questions
just tag on really quickly and say that the model that we have at iLead is a really solid model, but we're also really aware that what we're developing here is a new thing that might have different facets than the schools that we have. So we'll come in and say, this is what our suggestion is, here's what's worked for us, but there also might be another thing that we haven't even thought of yet that we developed together. And that's one of the things that we're super excited about, and especially thinking about this as a model. So we zipped through these things, partially because what we think is maybe more important is actually having conversations with you and hearing about your questions, your ideas, your thoughts, your excitements. And so we kind of wanted to zip through the slides and then really move towards
I
just
do
really.
have time to print those off, maybe if we want to do that real quick. Go ahead on my flash drive and print them off.
Okay, we could, but do you want to talk
Yeah,
about this
absolutely.
first?
So first of all, Kathleen Fredette is our project lead. So her email is right here. If you have any questions, she's the one. She'll reach out to me if there's something that I can help her with, but she would be the one for the contact for that. The other thing is this site is live. So we use a system called SchoolMint for all of our school enrollment. So if you were to go to this link right now, and this will be what will be coming to your inbox with step-by-step how to do it. It'll ask you to sign up for an account first. So you'll sign up, you'll put in your email address and a password, and then you'll just go through a few steps, your learner's name, your address, what school are you currently attending, and grade. Oh, there's Carrie. Certain things like that. So what that will do then is that will notify us that you are interested in enrolling your child. So it's putting you into that application phase. So then the next step would be to move into the enrollment packet, which that wouldn't roll out until spring, yeah. So we wouldn't start that process, but your name would be on that list as one of the first ones to be able to actually fill out that enrollment packet. November is way too early for you to fill out that enrollment packet, right? So what you would want to do is make sure that you get your name in right away with the application process.
And I think, just to peel this back a little bit, because we've had a couple families ask this, well, we were here from the beginning, do we get to get in? And so, as you know, public charter is open to everyone,
and our opening enrollment is targeted at 225. So what if we had more than 225? Well, we could figure that out. We could do more in the beginning year. When we would have to go to a lottery is if we got over 375. At that point, you go to a lottery system.
Which, it could happen. That
It could happen, it could happen.
It could happen.
So, that being said, I just wanna peel that back as, you know, cause
Right.
we never wanna not say something and
Right.
not deliver.
Right.
But that's how that works in terms of public, schools.
Any questions about that process or what that will look like?
So if the enrollment is in the spring, when will we know?
You'd be notified then, we haven't
As
set
soon-
those.
As soon as you put the application in, then you'll get back, okay, your application is in, you have that spot. And then when we'll be updating you, you'll get the enrollment packet, you know, you'll know when it's coming. I would assume, this is what I'm assuming, that anyone, that all of our families will be able to attend. That is what I'm assuming. If we get over 400, I don't know what to say.
I'm gonna be so
I'm gonna ask
excited.
John
We
if
might
can
have to
just-
build some
like,
classrooms over
John,
here.
can you give us another, part of a room? If we had that many,
Right,
I think we would go to bat for something else.
For
I don't
sure.
know, that's just my,
we don't wanna
Yeah.
turn any kids away,
I
right?
shouldn't say
What's
that.
the interest number sitting at now? How many
Right
people
now,
are saying they wanna
we
do it?
have 376.
but, but some of those are families that couldn't enroll next year. So I've got a fourth grader, or I've got fourth grader.
Mhm.
So but I wanna be on your waiting list, you know.
With the kids who could go 6, 7, and 8, it's at 200 right now. But total is almost 400.
Now, one of the things that Cherry Creek has clearly said to us is we wanna see that enrollment list that you have is actually moving over to people applying. And so what
So
will
that's why we need,
Yeah.
this process is very important, it's for us to be able to present to them, listen, yep, that was our interest list. And we have a lot of people who are really interested, but now we have the people who are ready to apply, now that our charter has been approved. So that's why it's also very crucial for you to get on there and get that application in, so that we can present them with that hard data and say, yes, if the interests are converting to applications.
And here's the reason why. It was really great talking to them today because they gave us these conditions. It was like, help us understand why. Well, the other charter school that they had, they were told, the charter school said, you know, we have, like, a lot of people who are gonna go here. And then when they opened up the door,
It wasn't.
there wasn't, and then they were in a world of hurt. And so, any condition they're giving to us is because they're coming from a place where they've had some not great experiences.
Did you have questions?
Just to clarify, you're not just taking rising sixth graders, are you taking rising seventh and eighth
Yes,
graders?
absolutely.
yes, rising
As a
6th,
parent
7th,
of
and 8th
a
graders.
next year eighth
No,
grader.
absolutely.
Oh, yes, no,
Yes.
get them in there,
Six,
get them in,
yes,
6th
yes.
through 8th.
And so how many, oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
How many students per teacher are you planning?
25.
Okay.
25 per teacher. Yes.
So I was wondering, the children who are in elementary, they are not ready for middle school. Can the family still be involved and,
Yeah.
We would absolutely want you to be involved. What we find is that parents become very interested in the school, and then if you become involved with the school early, then you become one of those founding stakeholders, right? We all want to be a part of that. We all want to be a part of helping the school to grow, and even if your kiddos are kindergarten, first, second grade, that's something very proud to be a part of, to be a part of creating this school. So absolutely.
And what a great, to tag on to your idea about that, when we do something like STEAM events, so we target not just our kids, of course you do that, but then you target the families as well in like providing fun opportunities for youngers.
that's what I was about to ask, if you have like after school programs where the younger ones who are really interested can be involved in some projects or.
Absolutely. Great question.
I love that idea. Didn't have that in the purview, but great idea, love it. So with anything like that, when someone has a great idea, it's okay, and then how do we mobilize that idea? And so who's gonna do that? And I love it, love it. Good.
All right, any other questions?
What
So
other
do you wanna
thoughts?
introduce-
Yes. Oh, go
Are
ahead.
you only accepting children within the Cherry Creek district?
We are not.
So is there like a maximum distance or something? No? Okay.
Nope.
Did you wanna fly in?
I mean,
Can we do that?
you can, I mean, you're not an airport, you absolutely could do that. I would love that,
Right?
You could like fly around and pick everybody up,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
I'll sign up for that.
Oh my gosh.
Having just taken the traffic to get
I wanna,
there.
can you hold on to that?
Yeah,
Don't lose it though, cause I wanna say something about this, and that is, our goal is to really reach out to a diverse population that maybe wouldn't have an opportunity to do this. So what does that mean in terms of carpooling or figuring out getting a bus and making sure that we could go get those kids that maybe come from families that couldn't get their kids here? And so as we think about that as a community, really opening up this opportunity for a kid who really wants to be here but doesn't have the means to be here. What does that mean for us to help provide that? Because what we know about aerospace and aviation, it tends to be, and look, I'm a pilot, but it tends to be white male. And so while that's not, I'm not saying that's a, how can we change that? How can we begin to make a shift on that? And so that will be something that I think we'll ask ourselves over and over again, is how do we make this a more inclusive opportunity? That's a really good question.
Just covering all bases with enrollment, let's say that there are more than 400 families and children that apply. Is there gonna be a preference for people who do live within the Cherry Creek district, or is it lottery system across the board?
Lotteries is, I would.
The question
Oh,
was,
what?
do Cherry Creek School District have a preference?
That's a question that we'd have to ask them. It is, and that's a very honest question that we actually came up with today after we left them.
Right.
So it is a question that we're going to present to them. I know that people who are board members do have preference. If you have siblings, so if you have a child that's, in 6th grade and then you have a rising 4th grader, that your 4th grader would get preference when they are into 6th grade. That's a clarified question that we need to put up to Cherry Creek. And what I have really admired about this process is how collaborative it has been. Kathleen has been the point person with that, and she sends a question and they immediately will respond and let us know. So I've been so grateful. We both have been very grateful for being able to sit at their table. Like, how exciting is that, right? They're welcoming it, and they want us to rise, and they want us to do what's best for their kids. And that's what just kept coming up over and over again in our conversation today.
Does Cherry Creek run the lottery themselves? Like
No, we do.
Design it?
Yeah, we would run it. We would run it.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
So,
In those classes of 25, is it a mix or are they split by grade?
We'll be doing grade level, but in other projects, again, it depends on, I don't know I can't promise how it's gonna be. I'm guessing that perhaps some of the work that's done in the Exploratorium would be multi-age. I love the idea of, at one of our schools, we have different electives where kids get to choose in, so they come in and that's multi-age. So I can't really even tell you that, because honestly, once we select a director, the director we will say, here are our ideas, here's what we've done, here's what we're proposing, and then that director will help to really develop those ideas along with parent feedback and board feedback.
I'm gonna step out for just a second. I have some documents that I just saved on here for you to be able to sign up if you are interested in being on one of those parent action committees, as well as a board member or a committee member. So I will be right back.
This is like
with
a
that.
bad teacher moment, and so I'm just gonna say it wasn't us.
It was not us. The door was locked. But do you want to introduce Kiri? And Kiri has some really exciting things, and she's looking for some kids to help her out with some things. And I know for sure that I have 2 volunteers that have already said yes. But look, there's like a room full of kids who might say yes.
You're gonna have
So
to
do you
help
want
me do the video.
Do you want to tell? I will.
I
No.
will.
Just set it up and
Okay.
explain like what you're gonna do.
Okay.
To them.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you didn't know you got to be part of like a space thing right here. But let me do some more parent questions, then I'm gonna pivot to you. Yes.
I just have one more question.
Can you tell me your name one more time?
My name's Laurel Lennon. as far as the lottery, you say that that's greater than 376. Once you hit like 376, or if you have accepted people, like number 225, does then everybody get thrown in the lottery, or just the people above that threshold, if that makes sense?
You know, let me check, but I'm almost positive it's everyone.
Okay.
And I will say, in the history of, I have to go look this up, so I shouldn't say something without knowing for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's never happened. I know it's never happened in our schools, where we had to say, you don't get to come. We have a wait list at our schools now.
Understood.
But the first year, I don't think it's ever happened. It'd be awesome if it happened.
It's a
Well,
good
maybe not for you. For,
I would think that would complicate things, though, if somebody was, you know, say 100 on the list and they got accepted, and then a month later you went up to 376, and that family's already made plans, and now they've gotta go back, they got thrown
You
out
know,
the lottery.
okay, good point,
Yeah.
good point. I think that we better, good point. Let me work on that one and get back to make sure I'm not saying something wrong, you know, on that? It does. Okay. Gonna write that down. What else? Anything else that you think is,
Just a question on the.
tell me your name again one more time.
Carrie,
Carrie.
your project-based learning. Do you guys do this a bunch of small projects over the course of the year, or do you guys combine them so that at the end it culminates in one big project? Or how do you guys typically handle that?
So typically, the way we have the curriculum designed here is in each grade 4 major projects. And then in between there might be some little minis. And part of that is because you just need a break from the really long ones, because it takes a lot to sustain that. So we have a combination of aviation and aerospace at every grade level already figured out. Morphable, very morphable. That is why this Exploratorium is so brilliant, because those are mini projects where kids are learning the skills of project-based learning and getting something over the finish line about every 3 weeks. So they're learning a new skill, and then they're creating something in their portfolio that says, now I know how to use this particular software or whatever. Does that make? Yeah. But being said, what I'm really excited about personally is so many of the aerospace projects that I lead had its genesis with just a few of us. And what I love is the amount of aerospace people already in the room that might have ideas that we don't have. So any project can be switched out. The key with these is knowing what are the standards. So I don't try to force a standard in. I look at my standards, and then I look at an idea, and then I begin to develop a project around that. So you were telling me about some high speed.
Oh, and yeah, and then ULA is a Future Heavy, where they put kids' projects up and launched on the biggest rocket. Sport
Right,
rocket, so.
right. So, see, that's already been done by you. Now we just like move that into a different thing. Now it could be a mini, or it could be like even an after school. It could be what we call a design tech, which is kind of like an elective. Love that. Good.
So you were talking
Can you
about,
tell me your name?
oh, sorry, no, this is my first time saying your name.
Okay.
I'm Christy, hi Krista. So you were talking about some of the like STEM events and family activities and things like that. Are there opportunities to work with the larger district on competitions like they have their Steamer-Palooza and their cardboard box challenge, and they have the Destination Imagination competitions and stuff like that? Are there connections with that? Is that
No, first time Carrie and I ever spoke together, we went and spoke at the national, the international one,
the
right?
finals?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. So is there?
Do you know,
that something?
that is a
different, or-
beautiful question, because I know for sure that's what we wanna do, like say
Right.
and we did meet with their one of the directors of, STEAM development. I think now that they've said yes to us, it's a different discussion, and I love that idea. I really love that idea. Cause you've been involved in those?
Yeah.
Which Destination Imagination?
We're doing the science mystery, medical mystery one.
Wow, that'd be
is
cool.
What they're doing this year.
Excellent, are your kids in that? Beautiful,
So.
beautiful. That's very great.
So, the thing that
I didn't introduce,
You didn't introduce
No.
Carrie?
I couldn't tell.
Okay, so forms that are going to be coming around. One, the blue, the one at the top is blue. That's if you're interested in a board position or one of the committee members on the board. So there's this, I can send that around both ways. And then the other one